Boy, Mickey, last week was a really good week. Market up almost 2% across the indices. I know there were some good earnings, but was it worth going up 2% for?
Well, the market started with the government shutdown ending. That helped get the market going. We talked about that last week. Once they cleared that up, it would help the market take off again, which it did. And the earnings have been good. And, in all reality, we have a lot of small investors sitting in the sidelines. And people are starting to jump in the market following, they don't want to get left behind, which historically kind of signals the top of a market. But I'm just having a hard time seeing this being the top of a market based on earnings and everything going on with the tax bill. But it's something that, we're definitely watching for our clients in case we do get a trend reversal, because remember, the market will move 12 to 18 months ahead of changes of earnings. So it's an interesting time. Things look great, but sometimes when things look really good is when you have to start really digging deeper into it and say, okay, what's next?
Well, I guess that really means you got to have a really steady hand on the trigger, because you don't want to, actually get ahead of the game, but you got to be prepared for anything that may happen on short notice.
Correct. And, like we've always talked about, you can't step in front of that moving train. And right now, this is, the bullet train. If you step in front of it, you're going to get hit hard. But, you do, what we're always looking at, we have a lot of indicators we're watching. And, at some point, this trend will change. And it probably will change when it's least expected. So we just are always watching, to make sure that we know what's going on, and we'll be able to help our clients when that does happen. And when you start getting all the small investors jumping into the market, that is usually the sign that we're getting to the top. But we have all these good earnings, so it's really hard to put the two of those together. But, at some point, this market can't go up forever, and it feels like it's going to. And again, that's another thing. When everyone thinks it's going up forever, watch out.
But don't step in front of that moving train. Mickey, thanks for looking out for our financial as well as our actual personal safety. I appreciate that. You get two bangs for the buck here. Okay, what's on tap for this coming week?
So this week is a pretty big week. We start off with, we have lots of earnings this week, tech earnings. The big tech companies, which will really be, show what's going to happen with NASDAQ. And Apple is going to be interesting because there's a lot of people that think Apple's going to have pretty weak guidance because the iPhone 10 has not been the end-all be-all that everyone expected. So, if Apple has better than expected guidance and earnings, actually the NASDAQ could really take off. We have the State of the Union address on Tuesday. So what I've read is that President Trump is going to ask for about $200 billion in infrastructure money, which will be good for a lot of the old school names in the Dow Jones and S&P that, the Caterpillars, those which had great earnings as well, help push the Dow Jones. That'll help those stocks, which will probably see more movement in the Dow Jones. And then we also have the two-day Fed meeting, which will be Janet Yellen's last meeting as the Fed chairman, but really not expecting any change of interest rates at this point. But it's a pretty busy week, and there's some other economic indicators that comes out this week. But definitely should be busy, and if the way things are going, we could have another up 2% week and have one of the best months, January's, in years.
So while people are just looking at their portfolios go through the roof, or maybe wondering if they should get in as the market continues to go higher, I know you're good about talking to folks. It really would be a good time for them to reach out to you. How can they do that again?
They can always email me directly, Mickey, Mickey, at Envestim, ENVESTIM.com. And, like you said, this is a kind of a hard time to how do you invest? And there's all different strategies of how to start investing at times like this. And that's something we always talk to our clients about. Follow us on Facebook, our Envestim page, and follow us on Twitter at Investim1.
Mickey, we'll see you at Facebook Live daily next week, and we'll do this wrap up at the end. Thanks so much. Have a good one.
You too, David. Thank you.